Ayy, look, yeah, ayy. I'm in the lab like Dexter, brand new batch he tested. I'm with all the extras, don't try and bitch, I'm pressure. I'm the type to step on steppers, I'm the type to step on steppers. I'm the type to step on steppers, I'm the type to step on steppers.
But aside from the Golden State Warriors, let's go ahead and talk about some early NBA All-Star candidates. A lot of guys have been playing great basketball this year, and they have not been flying under the radar. But, as always, the All-Star selection is very tough. And as we all know, it's going to be tough for players to crack that, that starting lineup because a lot of the voters, a lot of the voting from the public are going to ride for their franchise guys. And so, who are some guys that should be getting some All-Star recognitions so far this season?
Are we thinking? Let's just start with our starting lineup. Like
we can start off with starters, and we can go to the bench. We start off with the East.
I think for point guard East, I think I'll go with Halliburton. I think, yeah, I'll go with Tyrese Halliburton. I don't think there's been a better point guard on the season from the East over Halliburton, so I'm comfortably going with him.
I agree with Abby. I think Halliburton been the best point guard in the East.
I agree. We go Halliburton at the 1.
At the 2 for the East, I'm still. I don't know. I think I'll personally still go with Donovan Mitchell. I think he's been having a more underrated season than people are talking about. I think defensively he's been really good. The Cavs just lost Darius Garland and Mobley to some extended absences, so we're going to see some big performances from Donovan Mitchell. But overall in the season, he's still averaging about 27 on good shooting. I think he's gone under the radar for his performances, but the guy's been really, really good on the season. So I think as a 2 guard, I think I'll go with him. I'll go with Donovan Mitchell.
Can I put Jalen Brunson as a 2 guard here?
I mean, he counts as a guard.
He counts as a guard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got Brunson up in here, man. I feel like Brunson's been playing very, very solid for the Knicks. Very solid. I feel like he's been their best player from the jump, especially in the big ones that they had. I just think he's been very consistent, averaging 26 and 7 for them. So I got Brunson.
26 and 7. What's Mitchell averaging on the year? About what, 27?
27 and 5 or 27 and 6, something like that.
And they both have 2 similar records. Knicks sit at number 5 with a 14 and 11 record. Cavs sit at number 6 with 15 and 12. There's really no wrong answer when you look at it. I think you can go. You have an argument for both ways. So what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and put both of them down. Just one of them, because one of them is just going to have to hold that reserve spot.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson. So now we move to the forwards.
Well, my small forward is going to be, no question, Jason Tatum. I mean, they've been the best team in the East.
I think we can agree for the next 3 players here. I feel like it's
Tatum, Giannis, and Embiid, right?
Yeah, I feel like that's those 3. I feel like they're locked in.
Yeah, Tatum, Giannis, and Embiid. I think that's a pretty solid starting lineup.
Normally, figuring out the starters isn't necessarily the hard part. The hard part is figuring out the reserves, because a lot of guys are going to get snubbed.
Do we want to go reserves East or starters West?
Let's go ahead and let's go starters West.
So my point guard it's obviously my pick's going to be Shea. I think or Luka, whoever wants to be the 1 or 2, but it's going to be. I'll go with Luka at the 1. I think he's been a damn near top 3 MVP candidate, especially these last 15 games. He's just been on an absolute tear. He's going to miss Kyrie for some time, and even then, he's been putting up huge performances. So I think I'll go with Luka as my 1.
100% agree. I mean, for me, Luka 1, and then Shea's probably gonna be my 2. But Luka comes in and hoops every single season. I feel like he don't miss a beat. His game is, ethical hoops. He plays, he comes, he hoops, cooks up 40, 13, 8. One day 6 threes, the next day is crazy layups. The next day it's a game winner. And especially these last couple stretches without Kyrie, these last couple games, he's just been hooping. So Luka for me is at the 1.
Deservingly, Luka and Shea should be the starters as of right now. You guys aren't necessarily too concerned that the voters are probably just going to vote Steph Curry in just based on.
I mean, they probably will. And it's not to say that Steph Curry hasn't been great. I think Steph Curry's been amazing. But for the most part, I think Shea on the season, with how great the Thunder's been playing and his own individual two-way performances, I think I give the edge to Shea. But the voters are probably going to go with Steph. Not saying Steph doesn't have a great case for it, but I would give the edge to Shea.
It's a good thing we're not voters, so we don't necessarily have to do what they do. Luka and Shea for our backcourt. Do the Minnesota Timberwolves get a starter?
Nah. Because they don't have anybody that I could comfortably say has been like a top 7 player on the season. Or even because what? And even then, who's been quote unquote Minnesota's most important player? Some people are going to argue Ant. Some people are going to argue Gobert. So it's like, which one of the two would make that case for a starter? And even then, which one of the two has been playing at that level?
Yeah, I just need that consistency from Ant. I feel like, there'd be some games where he performs and then there'd be that little drought where he's shooting 3 for 15 or 4 for 19 or 3 for 20. Like against Dallas, he was like 3 for 19 the other day. It was pretty nasty. So for me, the consistency, I feel like there's other guards that are better than Ant right now in the West. I feel like there's at least 3 or 4 guards that I would take over him right now, but I wouldn't put him to the starting lineup.
That's fair. And at the 3 position, I think we're all thinking the same thing. I think we're all thinking Kawhi Leonard.
This is where I've been a little bit. I don't mind going with Kawhi Leonard, but at the same time, Bron has a pretty damn good case at 3. Because then who's your 4? Is it KD?
Is it Anthony Davis? We know number 5. We know that 5th spot's locked up. We could just put that man down, Nikola Jokic.
We know number 5 is Jokic.
Yeah,
that's Jokic.
I think LeBron.
I was thinking like a combination of Bron and KD, but Kawhi has a great case himself.
Kawhi has a great case, but I feel like the consistency overall throughout the full year, LeBron and KD been on that.
Especially KD, I think for the most part, KD's he's been playing at an MVP level for basically the entirety of the season compared to Kawhi Leonard, who started to get his feet under him the last 10, 12 games. So I would go with Bron and KD. I'm not gonna lie.
Damn, that's a real tough one, man. KD's back to averaging a 30-piece, 6 and 5. Just the Suns haven't been winning too much in the.
Yeah, they haven't. I don't know, man. I would go with
year.
Yeah.
4 years so far. Kawhi now he's turning up in these last 14 games. That full year for me, LeBron and KD, they've been hooping.
Yeah, that's a tough choice because I would because LeBron plus you add in the in-season tournament performance, not counting the final game, but the 2 games before that, and those count as regular season games. I think that kind of gives him the edge, especially the performance against the game before against the Pelicans, how we played defensively. I think I'd give it to Bron.
We'll go ahead and put down KD, and we'll put LeBron, and then of course, as we mentioned earlier, got Jokic rounding out our top 5. I don't think there's ever a concern over there. So now I move to the reserves, which is really the hard part.
I feel like East is very hard, but the West is gonna be easy.
What's the format? What is it? 12 players make a team?
I was 13.
I believe it's I think it's just 12 straight. It's not necessarily some specific head count for each position.
So we got 7 bench?
Yes, I think 7 bench player.
Do the Celtics get 2 All-Stars this year?
I know they get 1. They'll for sure get 1. I don't know if Porzingis 100% will make it. I can 100% see Jaylen Brown making it.
Him and Tatum.
I can 100%. So how it works is you get 2 guards, 3 front court players, and 2 wild cards. So the wild cards can be anything. It can be a front court player.
Let's get through the guards first, and then move to.
So you get 2 guards, right?
Like I said, between Mitchell and Brunson, one of them holding the bench. So that's
that's one of them for sure. So we have 1 guard.
So let's just say this: Brunson.
There's another guy I want to throw in there.
Let's say Brunson's a starter, right?
And
we'll say Mitchell's a first reserve guard. Who's the second one?
I gotta give it to Trae Young.
I was gonna say Trae Young. I think Trae Young's been on a heater especially the last 10 games. I think he's, the efficiency starting to really, really turn up.
Yeah,
I think he's been playing.
I think Trae Young deserves a spot.
Yeah. So like my second guard would be Trae Young.
Even
And
with the
now-
losing record.
Yeah, I think he's still been playing great, even with the losing record.
Okay. So
Now you have your 3 front court players. I'd say one of my front court players is Bam.
Bam deserves it. For sure.
I think on the season, Bam, especially
Are
probably
you
missing
giving-
the last 5 games. I think Bam's been playing great.
The Orlando Magic sit at number
we
5.
saying?
Do they get any
What we-
All-Stars this year?
What we saying?
Paolo might get a spot, man. Paolo
21.
might get a
Hey,
spot.
21, 7 and 5 for Paolo.
But I mean, are we counting Jaylen Brown as a front court player? He is kind of a shooting guard, small forward.
with the line they play right now, he's
What
playing.
is he? He plays the 2 for him?
Nah,
Yeah.
he plays small forward. You got Derek White. You got
Oh yeah,
Drew
Derek
Holiday.
Holiday. He would be a forward, man.
The thing is, for me, man, if you guys are picking, I'd say I'd take Paolo instead of Jaylen Brown. I feel like Paolo do more for his team than what Jaylen Brown does. Especially this second year, the way he's leading Orlando right now, 16-9, sitting in the 4th seed, averaging 21, 7 and 5.
Yeah. I mean, I would go with Jaylen Brown as my second reserve forward. Then you have one last option as your third one.
You guys have guys like Julius.
I would put
Randle.
Paolo as my third.
So we have for forwards, we have Jaylen Brown. We also have Paulo. Then what? We have one more
Bam,
spot
Jaylen
left?
Brown, Jaylen
Damn.
Brown, and yeah. So now you have
Hey, that's another guard. There's another guard I'm missing.
now you have 2 wild card spots.
I
Those
think
2 wild cards.
Maxey deserves
Yeah.
a spot.
There's Maxey, 100%. So now you have 2 wild card spots. Your 2 wild card spots can either be a forward or a guard.
How we forgetting right now? Dame too.
Maxey's one of them.
What are you guys thinking about Dame?
I think Dame's been a bit up and down on the season. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not messing with the consistency, man.
What is
That's
he? I think he's still averaging what, like 26 or something like that.
26 and 7
And the thing is, though, they've been what, top 3 seed?
and 19 and
Top-
7. They're right
top
there.
They're the second seed, matter of fact.
2. Yeah, so I think
Honestly, my spot here would have been LaMelo if he never got injured. For me, it would have been him.
He was on a heater for about 7-8 games.
Outside shot for me is Scotty Barnes. I'm not gonna lie. I think Scotty Barnes on the season has been. It's just the record just hasn't been there for Toronto, but on the season, I think Scotty Barnes has been playing amazing. I think he had a bounce back year compared to last year. I remember we were talking about this, where where teams were treating him like Ben Simmons, basically. And so this year he's been
back with a jump shot.
and he came back with a jump shot. He's worked on his game a lot more. He's an outside shot for that spot. It's tough.
Are we putting Maxey in as one of our flyers?
Yeah, I think Maxey would be a wild card, and just a wild card just means that it's not different from any other reserve. It just means it could be either front court or shoot or guard.
All right, so we got one Maxey. Then we got the next one. Yeah, this one's tough, man.
We have one more.
One more after this.
So do we have our 2 wild card spots? So it's Maxey, then is it Dame?
I think it might be Dame, bro. Even though the play has been inconsistent, I
don't see.
What do we? I mean, I don't know. It would either be like our options would either be Dame. It would be either Dame or Jimmy Butler. Those are like the last 2 spots, really. Like that's really the last 2 spots.
Damn, man, those are 2 players that one's inconsistent and the other I haven't heard much of this season. That's what. So
One don't care about the season like that. He go third of playoff time though for sure.
he don't even care about the All-Star position, anyways, bro. He's gonna show up and say I don't want to play.
Nah, give it to Dame. It'd be Dame and Maxey for my wild card. The only one that doesn't sit right with me is just having Jaylen Brown in that shit. Ugh.
I mean, he's the number 1 seed, man. You gotta
Number 1 speed, man. You gotta have 2 players, man.
So we'll put Dame as a wild card, and then that pretty much rounds out our Eastern Conference reserves. Now we move to the West. The West is just going to be a lot of guys that just weren't able to cut it for that starting lineup. Well, we're putting at number one. We'll probably start with Steph,
I think Booker.
Anthony Edwards,
No,
Devin Booker.
So we have two guards right now. We have Steph and Booker.
We have Steph and Booker. Kawhi will be in that mix since he wasn't able to crack that starting lineup.
Kawhi would be the first front court player.
Kawhi. Another guy that I have to.
Oh, wait, where's Anthony Davis? Yeah.
Anthony Davis will make it.
Yeah.
And then
Anthony Davis will make it.
So at this point right now, my center.
No, what's the third center? Is it Gobert or Sabonis?
No, I'm giving it to Gobert.
Yeah, I think
that point guard.
I think you would kind of have to give it to Gobert.
Yeah.
I think it would be Gobert. Just because I mean the dominant record, the defensive performances, everything. Now you have two wild card spots, and now for these options, I mean, you can go with De'Aaron Fox as one of them, and I think he definitely. Option. I think he's the first option.
There's no doubt he's gonna make that spot.
He's a lot for sure. And
now
wouldn't it just have to be Devin Booker that makes that wild card spot?
Yeah, Devin Booker would.
Booker was our starting shooting guard.
No, Booker's our backup.
No, backup shooting guard.
The thing is, though, like the wild card spots is pretty much the same as a reserve spot. It's just how it's labeled is it could be anything, a guard or a front court player.
So if we have Steph, Book, AD, Kawhi,
Gobert. Ant.
Yeah, we have Ant. I mentioned that Steph, Ant.
Booker.
So we get two guards and three front court players and two wild cards. So our two wild cards could be just Fox and Ant.
So the Pelicans are getting no All-Stars this year.
I mean, they might not. Ingram might get a shout for a spot, but he might have to try to get for a wild card spot. But I don't know, man. Damn. But also at the same time, like whoever's picked as a coach can't pick their own players. It's crazy.
As the bench?
Wait. What do you mean by that?
As a reserve, I believe a coach cannot like pick their own players for the reserves or something. There's like a rule against a coach picking like more than a player for the reserves. So I don't know if Chris Finch is going to be the head coach for the we might not see Minnesota be able to last that long, but I believe there's a rule against a coach in the All-Star reserves. Let me go ahead and see that. You see, NBA coaches vote for the reserves for the respective conferences. Okay, never mind. Yeah, so you know how? Never mind. I got it wrong. So they're good. They can get two players in the front in that game. So I think
probably Fox and Ant.
I think Fox and Ant will probably.
Yeah, that makes Fox Booker. Makes the most sense.
Damn. So Pelicans are not gonna have anything.
So Sabonis not gonna make it.
I mean, there's a bunch. There's a couple like snubs there. I mean, Sabonis has an argument. Chet, to me, has an argument. Wemby might have an argument. I'm not gonna lie. Like, just if you look at performance-wise, Wemby's been ever since they started putting Wemby at the 5, bro. That guy's crazy, man.
It's 4 wins, man. They're still a record of 4 and 21.
Bro. He's trying, bro. He's trying.
If it wasn't for Wemby, bro, these guys would be talked about just like we talk about the Detroit Pistons, man. So. We're just luckily he's getting away, just being the number 1 overall pick and being this player that he is. But I don't know. It's gonna be tough for
Ant. Yeah,
it'll be Fox.
Definitely, I think Chet has an outside shot at All-Star spot.
You know, sitting at number 2, that is a strong case. I just peeped 17-8. But I think we can round it out with that, though. I think we can round it out with Booker. We can round it out Fox as the 2 wild cards. Because, like I said in the beginning, a lot of these guys are gonna that weren't able to just make it in the starting lineup.
It's a lot of guys that would be starters.
Yeah,
I mean, the Clippers are only gonna get one All-Star though.
Paul George, yeah. So if it was early season, Paul George, yeah. So, but as of recently, he's just been kind of quiet.
Yep.
What do you think about snubs for the East?
I don't feel like there's snubs in the East like that.
Do you feel like there's anybody in the East?
I'm not. I mean, because Boston might potentially get 2, Milwaukee potentially 2, Philadelphia 2, Orlando just really deserves 1. Knicks deserve what? They got two, one being Brunson, the other Randall. Cavs only one. Miami might not get an all-star. That's not, I wouldn't necessarily call it a snub though.
Yeah,
Because
it wouldn't be the craziest thing.
It wouldn't. Nothing really stood out to me there. Indiana, it only makes sense to have Halliburton. Brooklyn deserves absolutely no all-stars. I don't care how good Mikal Bridges has been this year. Raptors, maybe with Scotty Barnes as of late, but other than that, teams like Chicago, Hornets, Wizards, Pistons, they're not getting all-stars, and for Atlanta being on the outside looking in, they'll be lucky to get Trae Young in that all-star game. In the West, it's pretty much been the same thing. Houston doesn't necessarily have any all-star caliber players.
I mean, the only one that would have like an outside shot, like the front court spot, would be Şengün. That's really just about it. Who's been playing, I think, great. He's been their best player. But outside of that, I don't think there's anybody from that team that would have like a remote shot at making the all-star team. Nobody else that I really could think about. I mean, I've been pushing the Desmond Bane agenda. I think Desmond Bane needs a shot. I've made some shots at All-Star game, but with 6 wins, I mean, it's tough to get a spot there, especially in a Western Conference where we have Fox, Booker, Shea, Luka, and all those guys. It's tough.
I agree with that. I think it's different. It's going to be interesting to see. I want to say when Ja gets back, if he's able to still sustain, that type of usage and be able to put up those type of numbers that he was putting up. Because he's averaging 26 on the season, but it's only leading to 6 wins, so it's not really nothing too crazy. But the play has been there. But outside of that, though, I don't think as of right now, as it stands, there hasn't been really much snubs. Because when you look at the Pelicans, Zion hasn't been really playing that great. And then Brandon Ingram, he's been pretty good for them as well, but nothing really stands out like that for him to have a case. But for Paul George missing it, there's still some opportunities, man. There's still a lot of time left before that All-Star voting opens up. But outside of that, maybe the Kings with Sabonis, they might try to argue for him, but it's nothing really as of right now screams snub for All-Star. But as we get closer to that All-Star game in February, the conversation may be a little bit different. So, we're just going to have to wait and see on that.
Record a new hit, then we making us a film. Wouldn't sign a deal if I got a couple mil. Been in the lab, now they throwing out deals. Me and now Lake, now that's overkill.